Okay, so we are going to be creating this desaturated advertisement with some color boxes and some text. And then we'll talk a little bit about adding in a logo and possibly removing the background if needed. Okay? So to start with your Bill Snyder image up that you got off Classroom. Anyone remember the keyboard shortcut that I just told you to put in to desaturate? Control-Shift what? What? No. Control-Shift-U. So everyone on their keyboard, Control-Shift-U. And that's going to turn your image black and white. Control-Shift-U. Okay, anytime you desaturate an image, the immediate next step should be Control-L. That's going to pull up our levels adjustments. And let me talk about, before you start dragging sliders around, let me talk about what the three parts of this levels adjustment layer, what that looks like, okay? So this black arrow right here, these are your shadows, okay? So dragging those, and if you kind of mess with it a little bit, don't mess with it too much. So that just makes black pixels darker. That's all that's doing. It darkens already dark pixels. Okay? So drag your slider back all the way over. You've messed it up. Okay? This white slider, what do you think it's doing? Makes white pixels brighter. Makes light colored pixels lighter. That's what that slider's doing. And this gray slider in the middle, that's called your mid-tone slider. So those are just the in-betweeners. Okay? How many shades, if we're in an RGB, a red, green, blue color scheme, which is the majority, not all of your documents that you make, does anyone know how many shades of each color there are? So in this case, it'd be how many shades of gray are there? This is a hint for you right here, but this isn't the answer. 256 because zeros counted as a shade. Okay? So with red, greens, and blues, all of your images, they're made up of 256 shades of red, 256 shades of green, 256 shades of blue, and it's just a matter of what shade combos together to make the specific color you're looking for. So I have like the specific buffalo brown, for example, that we use with anytime we make anything with for the school with that. Colleges, universities, in our case high schools, they have very specific color schemes that you must use. Like K-State has a specific K-State purple that has to be that purple. Okay? Same with KU and the red, the crimson and the blue and all of that. Huh? Yeah, we have a very specific shade of brown that we use for all of our stuff. Okay? So, in this case, in a black and white image, to make the appropriate adjustments, the first thing you're going to do is drag this black or the dark, the shadows. You're going to drag it to where it's about to start going up. Okay? So drag it to the point where it's starting this, does anyone remember what these are called? It's kind of a slope, but I'm trying to think of the technical term. I can't. May have seen them in math class, okay? And you're going to do the same with the white. You're going to drag it to where it's starting to go on an upward tick. And then the midtones, you guys can adjust accordingly. And so if I move this over and I click on and off on preview, I can see what a difference my very small adjustments made on my image. So before, it was a pretty good black and white image because it's a nice image. But when I add those adjustments, it just sharpens the distinction between like his background and his suit, makes those pixels not look as washed out. You guys seeing a difference in what you're doing? Okay. And once you're happy with that, you're going to click OK. If you completely like royally mess up, you're going to hit cancel, Control L again, and pull up the same thing. Because if I show you, if I hit it OK, and I go to pull up my Control L, like this graph looks different. Okay, and it's a little harder to mess with. So once you have that, go ahead and click OK for me. Now we're going to pull up our marquee tool, except I want to right click. So the last marquee tool I used was the elliptical. I want to right click or press and hold, and I want to get my rectangular marquee tool. Okay. Now what I want to do is draw. So we're going to draw a few boxes, but I want them to all remain the same size. So I'm going to probably end up duplicating a layer. But I'm going to draw a box about like this. I need to hit new layer also so that this new colored box ends up on its own layer. So draw your box and hit new layer. Those are the two things you need to do. Julie, what? I think it's Control. Nope, not Control N. That's a new document. I don't remember my keyboard shortcut for new layer. What was it? Control Shift N is a new layer. Okay. So I have my new layer. I've got my box. I want to fill this with purple because we're doing an advertisement for the American Cancer Society. So I can come over here and choose my, in my swatches panel, I can come over here to find the purple that I might want to use. And that's going to change the top, which is my foreground color. Another thing that I could do is come over here on my swatches and click, and it's going to pull up the same, just a bigger version of that. If your purple's not exact to mine, it's okay. And then I want to fill this square with that purple. And so the way we did it on the yearbook assignment was we said edit fill. But you'll see there's this really nice keyboard shortcut just called Shift F5. And that's the F5, all of those F functions across the top of your keyboard, that's the F5 that you're going to push. So if I push Shift F5, back over here, there. Shift F5, it's going to pull this up, and I want my contents to be my foreground color, which it defaulted to this black for some reason. Okay, be my foreground color, and I'm going to say OK. Okay, and then what I want to do is I just want to Alt, remember that's my duplicate, go over here, Control D to deselect that dancing ants, Control D to deselect those. I want to press and hold Alt, and I want to duplicate, getting my move tool, I want to duplicate this layer 3 times. Again, if you get your move tool, and then press and hold Alt on your keyboard, that's going to let you drag out boxes. You did do something. Control 0. Control Alt Z back until we get things looking right. Control 0. Okay. Just close it, or just hit the arrow to move it in. Yep. Get your move tool. Yep, there you go. Okay. Looks like everyone has 3 boxes drawn. Now I want to get my text tool. Go to the top of my layer panel, so this is guaranteed to show up here. And I want my text to be white. And I'm going to type these words. In Cancer. Then I'll push save that. do 3 different text boxes here. It doesn't matter what font. In Cancer, which I may have to select it and adjust up my font size. If it doesn't fit within the box, not a big deal. We can go back and transform these boxes later to fit the text that we want. Okay, in Cancer. Okay, that's a good question, Julie. So remember, to be able to resize your text quickly instead of clicking this drop-down arrow, I have to highlight my text, press and hold Control, and hover over the font size, and that's going to let me drag my text bigger and smaller quickly. That makes sense, Julie? Okay. So I'm going to say in Cancer, save that text, join for life. Join Relay for Life. And then today. Font does not matter. So, for example, this second box, I'm going to want to click on it, Control T, and I won't want to use Shift because it's going to try to make it, that's what was happening here, it's just going to try to make it proportional. I just want to go drag this slider here out. This isn't perfect. You guys are going to put more time into it. I'm just trying to show you your tools that you need to be successful on this. Okay. So an optional thing that I added here was I added a gray box, because I didn't want this information to be like my standout just yet. I added a gray box and said go to cancer.org to learn more. So that is an option. We're not going to do that right now, but it would be the same steps. New layer, edit fill, that to be gray. Okay. The last thing that I did, and I know some of you are still typing and that's okay, was there. Why it's asking me to sign in. Was I went here and I said Relay for Life logo. And then I just went out and found a logo, saved it to my drive, and placed it, did File, Place Embedded like you guys have done already. I guess not today, guys. Thank you. I did File, Place Embedded to place my image in there. Okay. I am going to pause this video. So that's basically the end of the lesson.